All right, I've been asked about a few questions on the Chapter 1 Skills Check Integrated Review, and the first one was number 18. And this one is an inequality that needs to be solved, and the answer expressed in interval notation and then graphed. So, we will talk more about inequalities in section 115. At the beginning with the skills check, we were looking to see if we had any prior knowledge with these. So, the first step in solving this inequality would be isolating the variable x. And because there is a minus 12, negative 4x minus 12, we're going to add 12 to both sides to get rid of this 12. So I'm going to add 12 to both sides. And I can go ahead and simplify this. 12 plus 20 is going to be 32. All right, so when I add 12 to both sides, plus 12 and minus 12, they cancel, plus 12 to the 20, 20 plus 12 is 32. Next step is going to be to divide both sides by negative 4 to get the x by itself. So when I divide by negative 4, since it's a negative, there's a property of inequalities that says if you multiply or divide by a negative number, the inequality symbol is going to switch. And then I can finish my division. The 32 divided by negative 4 is negative 8. So I did replace the less than symbol with the greater than symbol because I was multiplying or dividing by a negative number. And the reason for that is that negative numbers and positive numbers are on the opposite side of the number line, so the inequality switches when the sign on the other side of the inequality changes as a result of the multiplication or division. So as an inequality, my answer would be all numbers x that are greater than negative 8. Now, this question would like us to express this inequality in interval notation. We talked about intervals a little bit already in terms of our domain and range intervals. We're going to talk more about these in section 115, so if we're not there yet, don't worry about it. We're coming up on that. But for right now, in this interval for my solution, x is going to be larger than negative 8. So negative 8 is the smaller boundary. Intervals go in order of smallest to largest. So negative 8 is the smallest boundary up till, it doesn't tell me when to stop. It just says the x is greater than negative 8. So then up to infinity. That's going to be the interval for our solution. Now, this inequality here was a strict inequality, as in it did not include an equal sign. If you did another question and it did have the equal sign, if, for example, my answer had come out as x greater or equal to negative 8, that would slightly change the way the inequality looks. If I want to make this an inclusive interval where I include the negative 8, instead of using a parentheses, which excludes that value, just like this inequality symbol right here excludes, it has to be strictly larger, not including the 8. That would be a parenthesis. Including it would be a bracket. So I would do bracket negative 8 comma infinity. Now, even though this is an inclusive interval, infinity never ever gets a bracket because it's an idea that can't actually be reached. And the bracket symbol symbolizes that we obtain that value, that we reach negative 8, including negative 8, and then go larger. We can't reach infinity since it's an idea. It's not an achievable number, so it will only ever get a parenthesis. So the answer for this one is the exclusive interval, the parentheses, negative 8 comma infinity. All right, so back over to my math lab page right here. That's what we're seeing for the answer. You had something that was similar, but the inequality didn't switch right here, and you were also expressing it in inequality notation rather than interval notation, which was the requested notation. Next, for the graph of this, the graph needs to include all numbers that are larger, not equal to, so that parenthesis from the interval is going to be the symbol that we want to use. If it had an equal bar, I'd use the bracket, and I got to go larger. So this is where negative 8 is. We're going to include that with a parenthesis to signify that that number itself is not okay, but anything above it is. That's what we would like.